Okay, just spending a couple of minutes. This is not very well scripted. I have a brief idea of what I want to do, but not very well scripted. I want to go ahead and show how media is worked with. This is on macOS, and the question is, how does Linux work with it in similar ways? So first of all, I'm in a word processor. It happens to be an Apple-made one, but this would work in pretty much any program, Apple-made or not. It's just part of the system. But then, hello world. I could go ahead and put that, whatever. It is a word processor. But there's this media button right here. I'm going to have some of this grayed out. I could add photos, and the photo manager that I use, and I use the standard Apple one called Photos, will have moments, collections, years, ones that I've shared, albums, faces, and whatever program I'm in, I can pick those photos based off of the collections that I have, the categories that I have in my Photos application. Just like I could go into iTunes with my music, and I can get the music from there. Well, with Photos, there's also photo booths, so we could get it from different programs. With the music, again, I'll have some of this grayed out, or blurred out. I have playlists, and I have quite a few playlists right there, and so I can go ahead, scroll through. I'm going to have those grayed out, but yeah, you can see from the progress bar there, or the scroll bar, that there's quite a few there. So I can go ahead, have playlists. I was actually thinking that it let me do more than that, but it doesn't. We were talking about duration, and I'll show you that in just a minute, how you can find if you want to do a search for a duration of over so many minutes or what have you. There is also, just for completeness, I'll show movies, which you have in moments and collections and years and albums and movies folder. It can go ahead, actually. It's not perfect, and it does tie into the Apple tools. If you're not using those, these things are of limited value, this media browser. But, okay, so let's say we don't use the Apple tools, or, if we're looking for duration, I was thinking it had it. It doesn't, unless I made a playlist, and I could have a smart playlist within my music tool that says, songs under so many minutes. But it doesn't show up automatically. So let's go ahead, I'm going to hide that. I'm going to open this up called MP3 test, and this is where I'm getting my music from, or my MP3s from. I just went to Creative Commons and said include songs that I can have for commercial use. Makes it easy enough. I don't have to worry if I have ads on a video I put this on or anything. Anyway, so here it is, and I've downloaded a couple of these, Counting Sheep and this one right here. But let's go ahead. Here's an untitled one. I can go ahead and say download the MP3, so you can see I'm downloading this directly. And I can go ahead. There's a couple of ways to download this. Here it's going to start playing. But notice right here, it knows the exact duration immediately. I can go ahead and stop that. And let's see, where do I have to right click? There we go. Right click right there. Download video, which it knows because I've already downloaded the other ones, the MP3 test. But if it didn't, say it was in some other folder, I could make that real easy to get to. Just come over here, drag it, and that would make it real easy to get to. I don't really want that for now, so I'll drag that out. But that's just a nice little thing that it has. I could then hit save, and then it's saved over here. And I could also just right-click and say download linked file, because it's just linking straight to the file. Hit save. And let's go ahead and get one more. These are ones I've never downloaded before. So I will say download MP3. And again, I will download the two different qualities they have. Download linked file. Save. Download linked file. And save that. So those are the new ones. And you can see as it comes over here, it'll give you a little progress bar. And is this one not downloaded yet? There we go. There we go. I no longer need this here, so I'll go ahead and close that. With these right here, I can go ahead, I could right-click and say Get Info, or if I hold down the Option, it will say Show Inspector, or Command-I, or Option-Command-I, but Show Inspector. What that does is it will show information as I click on each one. And if we look at it, it has last opened today. It knows actually where I downloaded it from, has the title, and it has the duration right there, 7 minutes 42 seconds. If I click on this one, 7:42, 3:43, this should be 3:43. These are the same, except for different qualities. This right here, 7:35, 7:35, 4:30, and 4:30. So say I wanted to do a search, and I could save this as a smart search even, for videos, for MP3 files that are more than 5 minutes. So I can go ahead, hit Command F, or I usually try not to hit Command keys as I'm doing a video, so find right there, Command F, same idea. And this is doing a search, and I'm just going to look in my MP3 test folder, but of course I can do this anywhere. I could do this for my entire computer, and these are all MP3 files, but I'm going to say kind equals music and MP3s, which will include all of them, but if it didn't, if I had different types of files in there, it would not find those. Now, if I add to this search, last open date, created date, it doesn't have the duration, but if I click on other, it's going to have a whole long set of things here. It goes on and on and on. Now, not all of these deal with music, but there's, if you're dealing with the lens for an image, from a camera, all sorts of different stuff. City of the item. I mean, it just goes on and on, all sorts of metadata. I'm going to look for duration. And without digging through it all, I just started typing in duration. I'll admit my first word was size or something like that. I was like, oh, it's probably duration. So duration of this item. And if I was doing this often, I could say put it in the menu. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Duration. And from now on, even if I remove this, when I put it in there, if I was using duration a lot, of course it's there. Duration is greater than, let's say, 4 minutes. Now we've seen some of them are not. Greater than 5 minutes. That's going to cut down some more. So I can go ahead and have this duration saved, and then I could even save this and call this, put it to my sidebar and say MP3s over 5 minutes. Whatever I want to call that, save the search, and boom, from now on I can have this. Now this is only doing it within this right here, but I can go through and edit this right here, show search item criteria, and I can say the entire Mac, or I could go ahead and direct it to my user folder or whatever, and actually I don't really need this, I'm going to drag it out, but I can go ahead and build a smart search that will always find duration greater than 5 minutes or whatever I want to do, and it does it pretty much automatically. I don't have to play the video first or play the sound file first, it just knows it. In fact, if I go ahead, not only is it showing it here, Command I, just to get that right there, does it showing the duration right there. If I go ahead and I double click on one of these, it will open and it immediately knows the duration. So exactly how it's doing that, I don't know, but I could have folders right here, and if I'm in, if I go back into my file right here, if I wanted to insert something, insert, choose, it would have that sidebar. It has the music and the photos and the movies. That's similar actually to the media up there, but it would have my saved items. If I go and I save this, oops, let's go ahead and do that. Find again. Find music, MP3. Really don't even have to do this. Anyway, if I have that find in there, duration should show is greater than 5 minutes. If I had that saved, and I'm just going to call this 5 min, I would then be able to, from pretty much any program, find, oh, one of my sound files over 5 minutes. And so, it'd show me date modified. I could have it listing in different ways. That's pretty cool. And I don't really need to. I just have it none, so they're all put together. But I can go ahead and have those listed. I don't think it will give me duration across the top here. Now, it would be nice if it let me sort by duration. It doesn't. But pretty cool. And I can go ahead then in almost any program, still grab, even if my music player, if iTunes doesn't have, and iTunes is not a great program, even if my music player doesn't have a category that I want, I could build that category myself and have that for myself whenever I want it. So anyway, that's pretty much what I'm talking about. As far as I know, Linux doesn't do that, but I could very much be wrong. And that's pretty much what I was asking to see. How would you do that in Linux? Because I don't know. Certainly not saying Linux can't do it. I don't know.